have a good time.
What's up, YouTube? This is Takadaroba back again, and I wanted to share a little story that I've been writing in my free time with you guys. It's a little bit of a fan fiction, I guess you could say, about Destiny. I just wanted to read the opening of it and, see how it sounds, along with maybe seeing if I can get any feedback from you guys. So, without further ado, let's jump right into it. Note, I attempted to make this story follow the mechanics of Destiny as much as possible, but some had to be scrapped for various story writing purposes. I apologize if this degrades the story for you in any way. The Tower. Since the official release of the full game a few hours ago, it has been flooded with new Guardians performing tasks, running patrols, and leveling up. Many more citizens are around for the NPCs to talk to now than when it was in beta. Hints of the game getting future expansions have been the deciding factor in calling this version Vanilla Destiny. Not many Guardians have made it past Earth, since that seems to be the only planet available as of right now. Oh well, release bugs are normal in this day and age. The coming of this long-awaited game has brought something special that no one has ever seen coming. A virtual reality feature needed to play the game. Instead of your average everyday VR headset, this game withheld the power to actually take the players into the game, creating a character based off their features and making them feel as if they served more of a purpose, rather than picking up a controller and clicking some buttons around. This feature was simply implemented into every game disc sold so that there would be no cost along with the vanilla game. The mechanics of this feature are yet to be released to the public, but it works very well, every player being inserted into the game as their avatar would without fail. At any time, if a player wanted to quit, they'd simply have to pause, go to the settings menu, and select exit game, and they would be returned to the exact spot they were in before entering. Many players are very excited about this untold feature, while of course some were skeptical. Nonetheless, it very well deepened the entire experience of becoming a Guardian. Upon entering, players were taken to the creation screen, where they chose their class and added a few features to their own body. After that, they were thrown into the game, spawning at the tower to speak with the other Guardians and find their friends. A young man, around 20 years old, excitedly sat down on his couch after sliding the game into his console, and was ready to begin playing the game that he had just purchased. Pre-ordered, of course. He had long, dirty blonde hair, covering most of his forehead, a light, untrimmed stubble, blue eyes, slightly pale white skin, and wore a black Destiny shirt that most Guardian enthusiasts would have picked up before the game's release, like he did. His name was Cade. Cade was immediately transported into the console upon booting up the game for the first time. The shock of what just happened to him was quickly interrupted by the Destiny title screen, appearing like a huge movie screen in front of him, followed by the class select screen. Cade looked carefully at the three options: Hunter, Titan, and Warlock. Alright, what do I want to be known as for my whole Destiny career? I've always liked the close quarters style of the Hunter, but I think its abilities are lacking. Titan also really never piqued my interest with its simplistic looks. Well, that leaves one choice, I guess. Warlock it is. Once the choice was made, along with skipping over the edible features list, a bright white light shone through the menus, then was replaced with a fade to black. Suddenly, grounds and buildings began materializing all around Cade's feet. Everything gave off a bright aura before becoming fully muddled and textured. Once everything had loaded in, he recognized where he was, due to him being a very close observer of pre-release beta videos. He had made it to the tower. Guardians were flooding the tower, talking to one another, running around, decoding engrams, and turning in bounties. Cade attempted to search through the crowd, hoping to catch a glimpse of his friend he'd agreed to play with once they both got back from the store. No luck. He then decided to walk up a few stairs that were in front of him, then forward and a little to the right to meet with the gunsmith. Apparently many other Guardians had the same idea and were gathering around to hear a general tutorial to weaponry. There were 4 different kinds of weapons laying out on the tables. The gunsmith raised himself up on a slightly elevated platform behind the table and began to speak. What you see before you are the main primary weapons to be used in the field. From left to right we have the hand cannon, auto rifle, pulse rifle, and scout rifle. Hand cannons are small, with a low rate of fire, but pack quite a punch when colliding with the target. Auto rifles are your standard issue fully automatic weapons with varying rates of fire. Pulse rifles are 3-round burst weapons commonly used by Guardians who want more accuracy than an auto rifle but still want to be around mid-range. Finally, scout rifles are your single-shot, semi-auto weapons used mostly for long-range encounters. Everyone come up and select the weapon that you want to start with. Cade brought his hand up to his chin for a moment and thought, my playstyle is usually more close combat related, so I should probably pick an auto rifle. And that's what I'll do. Plus, who says I won't get to experiment around with guns later on? After waiting his turn in line, he walked up and tapped the auto rifle sitting on the table. Another white aura arose from the gun, flowed around him, and finally stopped above his head. It materialized into a rifle, exactly similar to the one on the table, and dropped into Cade's hands, almost dropping it. Sweet, thanks, Cade said, lightly waving to the gunsmith. He held the gun up into the air with one hand, and it transformed back into the white aura, fading into nothingness. Next up was the Vanguard outfitter. Cade walked back down the stairs whilst holding the railing on the right, rounded the corner once he got to the bottom, and walked into the hallway, hidden away from the bright sunlight. This place was almost as crowded as the outside, but not so much that he could easily make his way through. Passing by the Crucible handler, Lord Shax, he heard a few Guardians upset about something. The only thing he picked up from the passing conversation was something about the Crucible opening and something about being delayed. Something about glitches and not wanting anyone to get hurt by accident with this new VR feature. After passing by the Crucible section, he reached the Vanguard outfitters for each class. These characters were also up slightly elevated platforms, telling everyone to form a line directing towards their respective classes. Each character had a symbol above their head, along with the name of the class below it, probably for purposes of teaching Guardians their meanings. Cade got in line for the Warlock, and once it was his turn, the outfitter waved their hand over to him. The same white aura appeared, surrounding his body and generating a beginner Warlock uniform. It was in the shape of a trench coat, some battle gloves connecting to the armor, boots suitable for combat, and a realistic round helmet with a black rectangular panel reaching from top to bottom of the front. The outfitter then said, "Here's your battle equipment. Your helmet is fitted with a radio transmitter to keep in contact with the tower. Your subclass is currently Voidwalker, drawing energy from the Null element. You may exchange this at a later time for Sunsinger, drawing energy from the Solar element. Each subclass has its pros and cons, so make sure to keep a close eye on all the upgrade perks you obtain on leveling up, and make a decision based on your playstyle." Cade nodded and proceeded to walk away, back towards the courtyard of the tower where he spawned. Once again, rounding the railing to the right, Cade ascended the stairs, and was met with a bounty tracker. "Hello, sir," the robotic bounty tracker spoke. "Here is a mission for you that just came in. Be careful out there. The Cosmodrome is a dangerous place, especially with a task like this." "Wait, what? Is there something special about this mission?" Cade asked, but by the time he had asked the question, the bounty tracker was already assisting another Guardian, seeming to not even acknowledge his existence. Cade took one more scanning look over the sea of Guardians to try to pick out his friend, but to no avail. "I thought Ryder was going to meet me in the tower. Maybe I'll just run this bounty real quick and get back to meet with him. Early bird gets the worm, I guess. That way I'll be a little bit ahead of him in experience." Cade excitedly ran back to where he spawned in the tower and summoned a ship to pick him up with a radio transmitter implanted into his helmet. The ship arrived very quickly and picked him up along with a few other Guardians also heading to the Cosmodrome. This was a standard transportation ship designed to cart Guardians to and from the Cosmodrome for whatever reason they please. Once everyone took their seat, they were off.